Okay. Now here, after this move, my bishop is in danger. The pawn is threatening to capture the bishop, just as I can capture the bishop, right? So here, what I will do is I will protect my bishop. I can move it away to a safe square where the pawn can't capture. But white just captured my pawn. So I'm capturing back, and as part of capturing back, I also saved my bishop. So this move, normally when your opponent captures something, you have to capture back, right? Beyond that, there is nothing special about that. But here, now the thing is, white wants to castle. You can't castle here, right? The bishop is covering the square. Can you make any move that allows your king to be in check? Can you make any move that leaves your king in check?
No.
So here, white can't castle. So if white wants to castle, he has to block the bishop like this and next move castle, right? And this is not good because the king, without castling, the king is stuck in the middle of the board, right? So here, you have to keep the king safe. You have to keep the king out of the center by moving it to the corner. Here, when you play this move, you're moving away from the center, but it's not the same as castling. Your king is still close to the center, and more importantly, it's going to be difficult to get the rook into the game. Your rook, the white rook, is stuck. So here, after this, black has already castled, and see, I'm bringing my pieces, and this, it's as if your king was here, you went here. Let's go back 2 positions. Here I castled. Now it's as if white never moved and black made 2 moves, right? When you go back and forth, when you go to a square and come back without a reason, right? It's one thing to attack something, it moves, coming back is different. But when you move back and forth without a clear plan, it's as if you're not moving and your opponent is just keep moving. And here, after this, in chess, this idea, the knight is, sorry, here in this position, the knight is threatening the queen and the rook. Anyone know what this is called? This special move where one player is threatening 2 pieces, 2 or more pieces at the same time.
Jumping.
No, it's called a double attack or a fork. It is a
It's called a
tactic.
double attack.
Sorry?
It's called a double attack or jumping attack.
No, this is called a double attack because you're threatening 2 or more pieces at the same time, right? The knight is able to jump and go. That's a different thing. Any piece can give double attacks. I think we'll notice some more as we go along. But here, now the thing is, the idea of the double attack is that white has 1 move to save both the rook and the knight. How much is the knight? How much is the rook? How much is the queen?
Knight is 5. The rook is also 5. The queen is 9.
Is that correct? Can someone else tell?
The knight is 3. The rook knight is 3. Rook is 5. Queen is 9.
Yes, the knight is 3. Rook and queen are 5 and 9. Right? So here, black is threatening with something which is 3. He's threatening something which is 5 and something which is 9. So here, the problem for white is he has to keep 2 pieces safe in one turn. He has to move the rook away from the knight. He has to move the queen away from the knight. You can't move 2 pieces at the same time, only in castling, right? You can do that. And here, if you move the rook, the queen is going to get captured. Move the queen, the rook is going to get captured. Black won't mind, he's going to lose the knight afterwards because he's making a profit. Even if he gets the rook, he's only losing 3 for a 5, a profit of 2. So here, white had to make a move with the queen, maybe move the queen here because the queen was going to get captured, right? Instead this, and now I took this, right? The best move obviously is, you know what, right? What's the best move for black here? Capturing the rook or capturing the queen? Which is the best move?
Sir, if you capture the queen.
Yes, capturing the queen because the more valuable one. But here I chose to take the rook, right? And
Sir,
here, this is correct. Yes.
when you capture the rook, the bishop will capture the black knight.
Yes, but the knight is worth less than the rook, right? Black, even if he loses the knight, he's making a profit, right?
Sir, I don't understand profit.
You're getting more. You're getting
Yes.
an advantage compared to what your opponent is getting. You're getting 5, you're only losing 3. So that's more extra of 2, right?
Now I understand.
Right, that's the meaning of profit in this situation, right? So here, check. Okay.
Check.
Now what happens here? Who's this? Tisain. What happens when the white queen comes here? What can black
The
do?
pawn can capture the queen.
Sorry?
The pawn can capture the queen.
Yeah, so then was white's idea a good thing to do? What white just did, is it a good thing? Is it correct? Is it a good move? What white just did, is it a good move? What do anyone can comment, I don't mind. What do you all think? Is what white did a good move, or is it a bad move? It is a bad move. You're losing the queen for a pawn or 2 maximum, right? If black here, if sorry, if the pawn has captured this and the bishop captured here, still white is only getting 2 black pawns and black is getting a white queen. 2 for 9. So from white's point of view, it's a loss of 7, a very big loss, right? So this is a very bad move. Good. Okay, this also we can call a double attack. Of course, the white rook, the difference is normally if you attack one piece with the same kind of piece, right? If you attack a rook with a rook, or you attack a knight with a knight, or a pawn with a pawn, that piece can capture. So here the white rook can capture, but black doesn't mind because here he captured a knight and now he captured a rook. He's losing a rook, but he's getting a knight and rook.
Sir, it's a twofold attack.
Yes, a twofold attack, or a piece that is attacked twice. Good, right? 2 pieces are threatening. So here, queen caught pawn, queen. Right now, of course, black is just trying to get a new queen, right? This was the only thing I could figure out. And here, this is a mate, right? I think I wanted to finish the game quickly at this stage, right? I was probably trying to finish the game quickly, but anyway, black is in trouble here, right? Sorry, white is in trouble here because the 2 queens, it should be easy win, right? Okay. Who else is in the meeting? Let's have a look at again. Sanabdya, we'll have a look at your game. right? Sanadya, what happens when you go here? Sanadya, what's going to happen when the queen comes here? Sanadya? Anyone else?
Excuse me, sir. Can you tell what did you say?
My question is, white just played this. What happens when the white queen comes to this square?
The bishop in the black can capture the queen.
Yes, right? Always before moving, imagine the piece you're moving and imagine it on that square. Ask yourself, if I go here, will it get captured? Here, I can just pick up the queen with this bishop, right? Like you told, this is losing the queen. Of course, I didn't do that. I wanted to give y'all some chance, there, but that doesn't mean this is a good move, right? You had to think and play, right? Okay, so here, right now I took for the second time, right? Okay, this is another instance of what we call a double attack, right? See, the pawn is threatening the king, sorry. The pawn is threatening the king. The pawn is threatening the king and the pawn is threatening the knight at the same time. Black is threatening two pieces with capture. And because the king is in danger, or what we call the king is in check, white has one move to definitely save the king first, and then at the same time he has to save the knight. He can't move both the king and the knight. If he has to move the king and the knight is left there, I will just capture it, right? So this is what we call a double attack in chess. Black castle. And now, of course, I'm just trying to finish the game, go for the checkmate, right? This is checkmate, right? Actually, I think I finished this game rather too quickly, but I think I was trying to finish it quickly. Right, Sanadya? No, not now. I mean, at that time, I was trying to finish this quickly. But Sanadya, definitely this is not a good move, right? You have to think and play. Don't move to squares where you will get captured below its value, right? If you can capture if you go to a square where your knight is going to get captured, but you can capture back a rook in return, that's all right most of the time. But you go to a square where queen is going to get captured by a knight or bishop, it's not something you do. Even a queen getting captured by a rook, normally we don't move the queen to that square, right? Okay, so here, let's have a look at nice. Okay. Okay, we'll have a look at Murari's game. So here, okay, this is not good, right? I showed you, and I think at that time also I mentioned, this is in chess what we call the fool's mate, right? This is not good where you move the pawns in the corner, right? This line and this square, especially for white and for black, this square and this line is something you have to be very careful of, because at the start that square, the F2 square for white, the F7 square for black, is only protected by the king. So you have to watch out. And normally none of the black, sorry, in white's case, none of the white pieces can come between the H4 square and the F2 square initially. And if it was black, none of the black pieces can come between the H5 square and the F7 square initially. So you have to be very careful exposing the king like that, right? Here I didn't do that, I just did something else. See, now again, what happens when this pawn goes here, Murari? What happens to the black pawn? But sorry, what happens to the white pawn when it goes to that square?
It gets captured by the queen.
Yes, and for free, right? You're basically, what in chess speak, this is called losing a pawn, losing material. You're just losing something without anything in return. So when you're playing, you have to think and play. Don't move somewhere just for the sake of moving. Imagine before moving. In this situation, imagine the pawn here and ask yourself, is my pawn going to get captured? Right? You have to also ask additional question in that. When the pawn moves, does it leave someone else in danger? Because there are situations where the piece moving is safe, but it's leaving someone else in danger. So here, white loses a pawn. Now my queen is in danger. The knight is threatening the queen, so I'll just move it away. Here, the white rook just moved to a square where the bishop can take it, right? And here I could, the best move is for me to move the, sorry. Here the best move for black is to move the bishop to a square where it will not get captured, right? I could just move it back here and I just want a rook for free. But because I want to see whether you will capture or not, I left it there. And good, right? You took with the king, but now I'm going to take your bishop also. All right, so here you take this, I take this. I have recovered the rook I lost. Okay, this is a double attack or a fork by the queen. The queen is threatening the king with check, and he's threatening the rook. So here, sorry, he's threatening the knight. So here the queen is able to capture the knight because white can't save both pieces at the same time. White has to move the king and black will capture the knight like this. Castles, knight. Now here, again, this is checkmate in one. This idea, we call it queen and helper, right? What we do is the queen is under attack from the king, but it is protected by the knight. That's what we call the helper. And the queen is covering all these 5 squares except the square, except for the square the queen is on. All these other squares, the queen is able to cover.
It is protecting.
And the knight is protecting the queen, right? The queen stops the king from moving to all these squares or staying here. That's why this is called queen and helper. And you have to watch out for this, right? All these ideas, it's not about white, whether you're white or black. It's not about you just trying it. You have to notice your opponent doing it. You have to stop it. You have to defend against the threat, because otherwise, if you just ignore what your opponent is doing, you will get into trouble. Here, black could have ended the game. I saw this, but I just did something else because at that time I was trying to prolong the game. Now here, this is good that you notice, Murari. After this, you notice the rook is threatening the queen. The first question you should ask after your opponent moves is, which pieces are in danger? Which of my pieces are going to get captured immediately? And you have to take a look and also see which of your opponent's pieces you can capture. Then you can compare the two and decide if you are getting more, you can ignore the piece, your piece which is in danger. You can leave it to get captured and you can do something else. But if your piece is the bigger one that is in danger, you have to protect your one and let the opponent's piece go for the moment, right? So here you notice the rook is threatening the queen, but you have to, it's not just enough you move the queen, you have to move the queen to a square where it will not get captured. What happens to the white queen now? What will happen to the white queen now?
Wait.
Can someone tell? Yes, the black knight can capture the queen, so this is not a good move. You don't move the pieces to squares where they just get captured for free, right? In chess terms, it's called without compensation, or the move queen h5 is what we would call a blunder. The white player is making a huge mistake, right? So here I could have taken knight takes queen, but instead I moved the rook and the white queen went to the other side. Good. Now I'm again threatening the queen and helper. Queen here, knight is protecting. This doesn't do anything to stop the queen and helper. I can still play this move. The fact that the bishop can capture this or the pawn can capture this, none of those matter because the check is given by the queen and the queen cannot be captured immediately. You can't stop the check without moving the king or capturing the queen. Because the queen is next to the king, you obviously can't block, no space to do that. So here, the king has, it's checkmate, the king is in trouble, right? I played this. Now, this is an example of a situation I told you. If you ask from white, which white piece is in danger, what would you say? Look at the position and what would you say if which of white's pieces or pawns is in danger?
White?
Yeah, which of white's pieces or pawns is in danger of getting captured? Anyone can answer, just look at the board, tell me which white piece or pawn is going to get captured.
The pawn.
The two pawns are in danger.
Sorry?
In h5, the
The
pawn
two
in
pawns are in
h5.
danger.
Okay, please, guys. Okay, wait. When all of you speak, unfortunately, I can't hear. Tisen, can you repeat your answer, please?
Sir,
Go ahead.
two pawns in danger.
The h5 pawn and the
Sir, h4 pawn and
Wait, I'm
h3
asking Tisen. Okay, Tisen? Tisen, what's your...
in h5 pawn and the d6 one.
D6 is a black pawn. If you mean this one, this is D3, but black can't capture this safely because the pawn will or the queen will capture. So here, H5 pawn is in danger, obviously. Anything else? Someone else?
The king is in danger.
Okay, the checkmate threat is there, but any other white pieces is going to get captured? Someone else can answer, not the same. Someone else? No answers. What about the white queen? Can't the black pawn on c6, can't this pawn capture the queen?
Yes.
So you have to notice that. Now, can you tell me which black pieces are in danger of getting captured by white? Which black pieces can white capture?
Pawn. Black pawn.
Black knight.
Okay, someone was telling something about a knight. Can I have that answer? Who was telling something about a knight?
Murari Ocean.
Can you tell me? Where? The knight, which knight? Where? Can you explain? It's all right. Go ahead. Tell me which knight is under threat from which pawn?
E4. E4 knight is threatening to capture.
Yeah, if by who's threatening the e4 knight?
The pawn D3 pawn.
Yes. Okay, the d3 pawn is threatening the knight. Now I'll ask the next question. White notices he can capture the knight. Then he notices which of his pieces are in danger. He notices the queen. Now, if you all are white, what will you do? Will you save the queen or will you capture the knight?
Save
Save the queen.
the queen.
Yes, normally, right
Save
here.
the queen.
Okay, right, right. Normally, we save the queen rather than capture the knight because the queen is worth more. Here, of course, capturing the knight is correct because otherwise you're going to get checkmated on f2. See, if you do anything else, black has this move, giving checkmate. So because of that, white has to capture this. But normally, you don't capture the knight, assuming there was no checkmate here. Say there was a rook somewhere around here guarding everything. There is no checkmate. White would definitely protect the queen by moving it to safety rather than capturing the knight. Because if you capture the knight and you lose the queen, are you losing the bigger piece or are you getting the bigger piece? If you capture the queen, what will happen? Sorry, if you capture the knight and your queen gets lost, are you capturing the bigger piece or are you losing the bigger piece?
Losing the bigger piece.
Y'all are losing, yes, y'all are losing the bigger piece. So in that situation, it is not a good move, right? So y'all needed to keep the queen safe. So here white needed to move the queen away rather than move the knight, right? Here I took, now of course, I think I'm trying to finish the game quickly. This is checkmate, right? Okay. Okay. I think Ayatna also joined, right? No, she was there. Okay, we looked at Senodya's game, we looked at Tisen and Murari. Ayatna's game is the one that is there. Right. Here again, black is missing these two pieces, so white has a small edge at the start. Right here is the example of what I told you. This pawn is moving, it's also in danger, but at the same time, this pawn in the middle of the board is in danger of getting captured by the knight. So when you're playing, you have to think not just your move, you have to think whether the other moves you're doing, like whether the move you're doing, not only that piece, but if the other pieces are also in danger. So here, you had to notice the pawn was protecting the central pawn on e4, and by moving the pawn on f3 to f4, you leave the e4 pawn unguarded, and black takes with the knight, white takes this bishop. castles, and here the knight is under attack, so black defends with the pawn move in the center. Is this a good idea for white? First of all, Ayatna, what do you think? Is this a good idea? Is it a good idea to capture this? Is it a good idea? What do you think? Capturing the bishop with the queen, is it a good idea? Sorry, capturing the knight with the queen. Oh yeah, she's not. It's not there. Okay, right. Okay, anyone else who's
The pawn can
yes, right? Just give me a moment. Yes. The pawn can capture the queen, so it is not a good idea. It is not a good idea to move the queen to the square where the knight is. It's just going to get captured, right? So when you're moving, you have to take into consideration those kind of things also, right? You can't just capture the opponent's piece. You have to see whether your piece is safe. Here. So I captured the queen. Otherwise, I'm behind too many pieces. Now, after this move, what is black threatening to capture? What is black threatening to capture after this move? After this move, what is black threatening to capture?
The white bishop and the white pawn.
So if you can save only one, which one should you save? Should you save the bishop or should you save the pawn?
The bishop.
Yes, you have to save the bishop.
Bishop is
The bishop.
more.
Good. You have to save the more valuable piece. It makes more sense, right? So here, white needed to protect the bishop by moving the bishop away. One idea is one idea is you can move the bishop to this square where the queen can't capture. Another option is, for the moment, you can play something like this where the pawn is defending, or you can play this, the pawn is defending. If the queen captures the bishop, the pawn will take the queen. So you can do that, right? But definitely this is wrong. Here, the bishop is just going to capture the pawn, right? And again, what is the best move black can do here? What is the best move black can do here?
Capturing the white pawn.
Capturing the white pawn, or can it capture something better?
Better.
You can tell me?
So are we playing black pawn?
No, just looking at the board, it is black's turn. What can black capture? What can black capture?
The bishop can capture the knight.
Yeah, so actually the knight coming here is not good. He's going to a square. The knight is just going to a square where the bishop could have just taken him for free. This is a free piece. So not a good idea. Now the knight is in danger again from the pawn also. So white had to move the knight back. See, I'm continuously ignoring the knight. I'm not taking it. Now only I took, because the pawn was not, the knight wasn't trying to move away or anything. Again, now white is threatening the bishop. Sorry, black is threatening the bishop. So white has to do something to save the bishop. And here, this is the correct way, because again, you discourage the queen because you can't move the bishop. So the only way to keep the bishop safe is to move someone into position so that if the queen captures the bishop, you can capture back, thereby not stopping the queen from capturing. You can't stop it, it's a legal move, but you can discourage. You can discourage the queen from coming there, because if the queen comes there, it's going to get captured. And no one who's thinking properly during a game of chess will deliberately lose a queen. The queen is too much to lose for even a bishop or knight or even a rook. The queen is 9. So unless there is something really desperate, a good player will not just lose a queen for a bishop. So here, after this move, sorry. Okay, who just joined? Okay, so here, the bishop is the one in danger and white had to play the knight up. Instead, after this, I could have taken the knight. Sorry, I could have taken the bishop. Queen takes bishop, black could have taken. I didn't take because I was trying, at that time I was trying to keep the game going for a little longer. Now I'm threatening. This is a way we play chess. Like y'all, I think one of you told me twofold attack, when two pieces attack and only one piece is defending. You overwhelm it with your twofold attack. Here, with the attack on this pawn, it's attacked 3 times directly. It is attacked 3 times directly, like this. And behind the rook, oh, sorry. Here, like I was telling, the bishop, yes. Here, the bishop, knight, these 3, the rook and the queen, all 3 are attacking. And behind it, the 4th piece. Because once this rook comes here, once this rook moves here, you can, okay, I keep mixing it up. Once this rook comes here, the back rook can also come. So its 4 pieces are threatening the pawn, and it's only defended by 3. And out of that, the 3rd defender doesn't count, because if it's the king, you can't move the king to a square where it will get captured. So here, white is losing too many pieces, right? But in these kind of situations, should black capture first with the lowest piece or the biggest piece? Should he first capture with the bishop or should he capture with the queen first? If you're black, you have to capture first with the bishop or the queen.
Bishop.
Yes, you normally capture with the lowest piece, not the highest piece, right? You have to capture with the most.
So we lose lower, and if the another piece captures, we can capture back.
Yes. Now think here, you're losing a bishop, rook, bishop and rook, and you're getting a pawn, bishop and knight. Now, pawn, bishop and knight are 7. You are losing a bishop and rook, you are getting 8, right? Sorry, you are losing 8, you are getting 7. Normally, it's not good, but here black is trying to exchange. But if you first capture with the queen and then you capture with the rook, instead of losing a bishop and rook, you are losing a queen and rook. That's 14 compared to the 7 you are getting. So always, unless there is a very good reason not to keep following it, you normally first capture with the more valuable one kept safe, and you capture with the less valuable one. You always capture with the small guys, unless you are trying to make big threats and you know your big value guy is not going to get captured, then it's okay, you capture with the queen. But if the first piece that is going to do the capturing is going to get captured, you keep the big pieces safe, you keep them away, and you go with the lesser pieces. Understand?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, because the lesser pieces are more expendable, we can say. You can afford to lose the lesser ones compared to the strong ones, because normally you don't want to lose your pieces that are able to do more, right? Okay, now this is again another queen and helper mate, right? This mate trick, always watch out for it, and you need to defend against it also. The queen, protected by someone else, gives check from next to the king, and when the queen is next to the king directly in front, all the squares the king can move to are covered, right? So this is the answer. Sorry, this is the game, right? Now, just give me a moment. Y'all think and tell me. The black king is in check. What is the best way for black to stop the check? But you all have to think and tell me, and part of finding the answer is based on what your opponent is doing after you move, right? You have to think, what will happen if I do this move? You have to think like that. The black king is in check. How do you... Yes, you all are having the black pieces. You have to think the best way. There are 3 answers possible, but only one is correct. This is the position. How do you keep the king safe?
Sir, do we have to checkmate the
No, your king is, no, y'all are black. The white rook is threatening your king. So how do you keep the king safe? The best way.
bishop to play. Sir, I know.
Okay, you can tell me.
We can move the king. We can move the king to H.
If you move the king
If
here,
we move the king to h8, still the checkmate is there.
yes, it is still check. If see, this rook is able to cover this entire line, right? From this square, all these 5 squares, the rook is able to cover, right? So even if you move here, it is still check, or you move here, still check. So moving the king to h8 is not the correct answer. It is chess. If you move the king in chess terms, it is called illegal move, because it does not stop the check, and you can't leave your king in check, or you can't make any move that leaves the kings in check.
Rook to d8.
Sorry?
Black rook to d8.
Well, can this black rook come to d8 in one turn?
No, because it's come 2 turns, and if we do it in 2 turns, the rook will capture.
Yes, right, you are correct.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, I'm listening.
We can put the bishop in e7 to d8, and then the rook
Okay,
will capture, and we have to
yes,
put the
good, right? You can't put the rook here. This is illegal. The rook can't move like this in one turn. When you go here, it is white's turn, and still the king is in check. So this, you can't do it. This is another illegal. You can put the bishop here, but if you put the bishop here, white will just capture the rook. Use the rook and capture the bishop, right? You move the bishop here, it's just going to get captured. So not good. Right, it stops the check, but you are just going to lose the bishop, and afterwards you are still in the same problem. Your king is in check. So what do you do?
So I know we can move the bishop. The bishop to 8e, and we can move one pawn forward.
Okay, first of all, you can't make 2 moves in one turn. After you move, it's your opponent's turn. And yes, bishop f8 is the correct move, because if you go here with the bishop, the rook will just take it. If you go here with the knight, the rook will take it. Here also, the rook can take it, but the difference is now the rook is next to the king. Yes. Yes, the king is next to the bishop, protecting it. So this is the correct move. This was the correct way to stop the check, right? Always you guys need to think what will happen after your move, right? You have to think of the consequences, right? Okay, just give me.
If the rook comes there, it just will be check, right?
Sorry?
If the bishop comes to f8 and the rook capture, it will still be check, right?
It is check, but the king is next to the rook, so it can capture it and keep it safe, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay, now this is the position, and this is the final question for today. It is white's turn. You're white, and your king is in check from the black queen, like this, right? So this is the position. Your king is in check. What will you play? How will you keep your king safe? Think what will happen. Listen, before moving, think what will happen if you play a particular move. Ask yourself what will happen.
Sir, are we white or black?
Yes,
I can hear.
y'all are having the white pieces for this one. You have to keep the white king safe.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir, I know.
we can move the rook to h2.
Okay, after you play rook to h2, what do you think black will play?
Black will
Capture the rook, and we can capture back by the king.
Okay. Anyone else with the same answer? We'll first discuss that.
I'm
Right.
also going to say the same.
Okay. Anyone else with a different answer?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening.
We can put the rock in G2 to G3.
Well, okay, listen. Wait. Sorry? What was the last time?
Up to G1.
Okay, we'll come back. Right. First of all, does this move stop the check from the queen? The queen is the one threatening the king
No.
like this, right?
But if you move to
So
H2,
if you move,
it will stop the check.
wait. So does this rook move? Does this rook move stop the king? Just give me a moment, please.
இப்ப எங்கம்மா போகணும் போகணுமாங்க இல்ல சார் சொன்னாங்க
The rook move does not, this rook move does not stop the check from the queen. Same thing, the bishop comes here. This also doesn't stop the king being in check. So bishop g1 is also wrong. This, it stops the check, no question. The queen now can't capture the king. The rook is in the way. But what do you think black will do? Someone said the queen will capture the rook and then the king will capture the queen. Can the king capture the queen? Look at the board carefully and tell me, can this king capture?
We can't capture because the bishop
No,
is
sir.
Yes, this is checkmate. This is a queen and helper situation. The queen is in next to the king, covering all the squares, and the helper, in this case the bishop, is guarding the queen. It's checkmate. So here the correct way, the only way to keep the king safe correctly is moving the king here, right? Always when you all are playing, you all need to think of the consequences of your actions, right? Ask yourself, if I play this, what will happen afterwards, right? Okay. You guys have any questions regarding what we did? Guys, any of you guys have any questions regarding what we did?
No.
No.
No, sir.
Okay, you all understood what we did so far?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Okay, guys. So we'll stop for today and we'll meet up again on next Saturday, right?
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. Safe
Okay.
day. Bye.
Bye.
God bless you, sir. Have a nice day.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm leaving.
Okay.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. Stay safe,
Okay.
sir.